Hello, my name is Linda McAnany, and welcome to my show. If you weren't at the United Way kickoff, campaign kickoff, you missed a lot of fun and excitement. And we're going to talk about that, the kickoff and the campaign today. With me are Ann Bax. She is the Executive Director, CPO of the United Way of Central Missouri.
Thanks for having us,
It's
Linda.
good to have you. Jayne Dunkmann. And Jayne and Matt Tollerton are the campaign chairs of this year's campaign. And as I said, it was so much fun and there was so much enthusiasm. And you know what? I think everybody left there just raring to go. Didn't you get that impression?
I think so. We try to, of course, have a fun component every year. And our theme this year is Rockin' the 80s. But our serious side of that is Don't Stop Believing, which is the familiar line from the Journey song from the 80s. But so it was kind of the full gamut of emotions. We had all kinds of fun was put into those. It's just a great reflection of the campaign, their campaigns as a whole.
Yeah, and I tell you, some of those I shouldn't say some, all those guitars, but there were some that were just outstanding and were very poetic and yet very artistic and fun.
You
so
bet.
That was great. You two, you are experiencing, now Matt, this is your second
That's
campaign.
Right.
As leaders of the campaign, you're involved.
Yep.
Describe your roles.
Well, it's funny because I always say I work full-time for Ann right now, and Jefferson Bank pays me, which has been the most incredible experience. I can't even say, I was always involved in the United Way campaign, but really hearing some of the stories as we go from business to business, and we have actual employees of some of these businesses that come up and admit that they use these services, and they got a hand up whenever they were really down and out, and it's very touching. And I got to say, I'm no crier, but I have cried at probably over half of these, the touching video, which you'll play later, but it's meant a lot. And maybe it's because I'm getting older, I don't know, but there's something really deep there's a passion, the fire of just, I want to help more people and help Ann and her team and all the pace setters and the companies coming up with the community campaign. I want them to know how valuable United Way is in the community, and I believe that's what our role is as co-chairs, is to convey that message.
And it's not just about numbers. It's about people.
Oh,
It's about,
absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. Jayne sums it up quite well, though. The role is really just to go out and promote the United Way, but it makes it, being my second year, it makes it so easy to go out and do because you have talked to all these people,
Yeah.
and you start to have these emotions and these feelings towards them, and you really start understanding the benefit of all those partner agencies that are out there and how the United Way really is a fundraising effort for those agencies, and how many of those agencies wouldn't even be around if it wasn't for the United Way.
That's a very important point, is without the United Way, some of these agencies would not
exist.
or could not exist,
Yeah. Right.
and neither would their services.
Yeah.
Jayne, this is your first campaign, so how is it compared to what you thought it would be?
Well, it's funny, we've kind of already touched on that. In my opinion, I went into it thinking, we're going to raise some money. And I think Ann has always said, even because I was on the marketing team at one time and it got really frustrating, the dollars didn't maybe come out of the little rally or something, and I was like, it's really not about the money, it's about awareness, how important these agencies are in the community. Light bulb did go on. I'm sorry it took me so long. I have to be a co-chair to actually figure that out, but it isn't about the money. It's making sure that we let people know there are services out there when they're down and out that they can actually turn to the United Way. I know small children and the elderly, you lose your house in fire, you just need a helping hand.
You need to be reminded.
It's amazing, but I think that is what I've learned from it, and I'm only sorry I didn't know that before, coming in, but it really has hit home that it's not just about the money. It's important to the agencies, obviously, but that awareness in our community of what it really does, that hand up. It's no handout. These people want to do well.
Right.
They want their lives to be the best lives they can lead, but it's all about that hand up, just helping people out when they're down and out, and that's what's neat about the United Way.
And Matt, this is your second campaign.
That's
And what's different?
I think the unknown being a known now is different. You kind of first year you're kind of at a loss, not quite sure what to do. You're kind of just following along. Year two, you're going in ready to go, and you're strategize. You've already strategized, and come January, it's okay. What events are we going to plan? What are we going to do to execute to make sure we have a successful campaign? So all those kind of jitters kind of go away the second year for sure. So.
And I think that's a very positive thing, of having co-chairs, one who was involved with the previous year and someone new, and just keeping that momentum going, but also it kind of gives you a little bit of confidence as the brand new person.
Right. I think I'm part of the unknown, aren't I?
You're in that unknown stage. She's figuring it all out, though. I think she's done a good job figuring it out.
She's been a great leader.
Absolutely.
So it's good to have, you're right, the co-chair that actually has been
and
through.
Next year, you'll be that role
right.
model for the new person.
Right.
So that's always, I think that's always a
It
good
is neat.
experience. There's so much to it that goes on in a campaign. One of the, obviously, is putting the theme together. And can I ask who came up with the theme? I know that there's a group, but was it kind of a consensus?
Kind of looks like I might have had something to do with my 80s shirt on right now, but
It was these two. I'm not sure which of the two. I think it was definitely these two. And of course, to even kick it off, they did a little little video of them driving down the street singing to some 80s songs. And I don't remember exactly which of you two, or maybe it was a joint effort. But it was.
It's a pretty joint effort.
It was definitely the two of them. I can tell you, these two not only are passionate and people want to follow them, as evidenced by their own businesses' successful campaigns. The Central Bank, who Matt is a Central Bank employee, had another phenomenal campaign, and Jefferson Bank, who Jayne works for, they both had even better campaigns than before, as evidence that their coworkers love them and want to follow them and believe in the work that they're doing. But also just they are so creative, and plus neither one of them ever sleeps. So you put all of that together, and you have great leaders.
You have this high energy,
you
right?
You do. We have 7 o'clock morning meetings at Coffee Zone, and
I would say 5 a.m. text message.
5 a.m. text.
starts
That's
at 5,
right.
right? Yeah.
But I just couldn't say enough great things about these two. They, like I said, they're so creative. The things that they're coming up with, the fun and the energy, starts with them, and then our marketing team, which is equally creative. It just those are some of the greatest meetings, and some great people that are following these two and coming up with the ideas. And then we have 55 campaign team members that are out now calling on businesses. Each of them has between 5 and 7 businesses that they're calling on. Again, following the lead of Jayne and Matt. When you see someone so passionate, volunteers who are so passionate and believe in what they're doing so much, you can't help but want to be a part of it.
Right. And some of these volunteers have been volunteers for years, and they don't lose their enthusiasm. No. They are still gung-ho, ready to go, ready for another campaign, and let's do it.
You're so right, and that just... it just re-energizes me every year when you see the passion of all of our volunteers, whatever committee they serve on, whether it's on the campaign team, on fund allocation. It is just incredible, the people that are behind the scenes, and some behind the scenes, some on the front lines, but the work and the passion and commitment of our community, it just makes you want to do more and more for, for the United Way and for the community.
And an important part of the campaign, obviously, is the video. And that's always an exciting opportunity, and we have a media sponsor of that video.
Right, KOMU.
KOMU has done it for a number of years.
Many years, I think going on 20 years.
Is that right?
Yes, I think this year is one of the best ever. They're always great. This year, you need to get your Kleenex out, but it spotlights our 2 new partner agencies. We were able to welcome 2 new agencies. I know we talked about it last year about this time, but 2 new agencies into the United Way family. So we now have 28 partner agencies, and Central Missouri Foster Care and Adoption Association, and CASA, Court Appointed Special Advocates. and what they do will be highlighted in the video. But it was a niche that we were able to affect positive change through some one-time grants, but not something we were having as a partner agency. So to make that possible has been just a huge, huge, wonderful benefit to the United Way, and I think the agencies would agree.
And you're going to get the pleasure to see that video. So stay with us. And here is the United Way of Central Missouri's 2016 campaign video.
One of the things that was hardest for me to get my arms around was to realize that 3-year-old who was removed at birth and maybe born in the hospital on drugs himself, addicted, has gone from maybe, lucky if it's been one foster home, it might have been 2 or 3 foster homes. His entire life, he's never been in a home with a mother and father like I had. You know, how tragic that is. No one's ever really told them that they cared about them. Nobody's really told them that I love you.
It is not their fault that they've been removed from their home. It's so hard to listen to them say, why can't I be with my mom? Why can't I be with my father? What is wrong with me? So those are tough things, but it's necessary for them to be able to say those things, say them out loud, and have someone that they can share that with. Children who come from homes with drug and alcohol addiction and poverty often experience many unhealthy, unsafe situations. They've got to have someone that they can share their story with before they're able to move forward.
So they get to know the kids, they get to know the situation. They're non-threatening. You know, everybody else is, you know, a juvenile officer carries a badge, the Children's Division is also often associated with removing children. But the CASA worker, they're just there. It's kind of like the friendly face that they have there.
Now, here comes a volunteer that their sole responsibility, and they've accepted it well, is to be the voice for that child and to do whatever they can to help that child not only work through the court system, but work through life. We're growing our program, and as we grow our program, we help more kids. That's what it's all about. We're but one partner agency, and there are, I think 28, 27 others, you know, in there, and they're all helping people in need through the United Way of Central Missouri, and it's so critical. I don't know what this community would be like without it.
So Missouri has over 13,000 children in the foster care system. Many of them, over 1,400, are waiting for adoptive family. They will not go home. They are stagnating. They are just waiting and lingering in a system that is supposed to be temporary. What we want to do is try to find families like the Gilbert family who stand up and say, I'll do it, I'll do it.
So Rochelle and I have 3 biological children and 2 foster children in our home right now, and we're preparing for adoption of those 2 as well. As we began the journey of fostering, we knew, you know, that this would be different, but we didn't know exactly what that meant, and we felt pretty strong and pretty blessed to be able to do this and provide for kids. But going through it, you realize how much you need help, and so the CMFCAA has come alongside of us.
The heartache and the pain that come from taking in kids from hard places is very raw and it's very deep. But there are also indescribable joys that come along with doing that.
Are you ready? Small one? Is that good? Okay.
The good news is that you do not have to be an amazing person to do something amazing. You just need to be willing. We just keep working and loving and fighting for the needs of the kids who come into our home. When you begin to see little glimmers of hope in a child's eyes, when you start to see even the smallest sign of healing in a child, then you know that it is so very worth it. There is a boy out there who needs you. He needs your love and your attention and your encouragement and your support. He needs you to fight for him. There is a girl out there who needs you. She needs you to be willing to invest in her and to connect with her in ways that will show her that she is valuable and that she is precious to someone.
And the children behind me are some of those who have permanent, forever families. And that's one of the biggest deals to us, is to find families for these children that would otherwise age out and not have a family or support. And the statistics are grim. Over half of the children that age out of Missouri's foster care system become homeless, incarcerated, or dead after 6 months. With the United Way, we can do better than that.
You know, I think one reason to give to the United Way is you become part of a network of support. It's not just one agency. You know, there are so many different people with different needs, and so when you give to the United Way, you're giving to families like us who need people alongside them.
So we are grateful for you, and we love you.
What a touching video. It's a story of passion about children who need help and adults who are willing to help. And I think all of us in this world should be touched by that video. I'm excited for you all. It's very well done. You know, the pacesetter companies are so important to the campaign. I mean, we've talked about that. And they always look for entertaining opportunities. And so I'm going to, what are some of the ones that, and I know they're all good, so it's very difficult to pull a couple out, but any that come to your mind?
I think what they did over at Jefferson Bank's pretty funny. Jayne, will you tell them about
Well,
Jefferson?
I mean, it's an 80s theme, and we had a high hair happy hour, if you will, and some of our executives were paired up with some of the ladies in the bank, and they did some backcombing, got at the Aquanet hairspray, and the largest hair won a prize. They won the trophy.
Now we're talking
hair, backcombing, yeah, big hair.
Wow,
big hair
I wish
day.
I had seen that.
Big hair, yeah, so it was fun. We had 4 gals that had their hair backcombed. It wasn't pleasant for a couple of them because the men did not know what they were doing.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, backcombed.
Yes.
Yeah,
oh my
sorry.
gosh.
So it was very interesting. And then we also voted for one of the 4 executives. They were the stylists, and the winning stylist had to take a chair for charity a couple weeks later, and we raised over $400 to choose the one executive that had to sit in that chair. Right. Bob Bryant had his hair made into a shark fin or whatever, mohawk, faux hawk, and we sprayed it pink, blue, and silver tipped it.
And I hope it was with spray that lasted an indefinite
I was very
time.
careful for my job to make sure it washed out.
Darn.
Because the young lady that sprayed it, she was real worried. She's like, sure it's going to come out? And I'm like, I hope so. So it was fun. So that's just for one example. Yeah. There were a lot of other
Central's, yeah, we had movie themed, you had to kind of do movie themed trivia contests at different stations and departments of the bank. We had fundraisers with selling food, lots of we sold 80s themed candy, all sorts of little things too. So.
80s themed candy. What?
They pull out there's Reese's Pieces came out.
Suckers, Pop Rocks.
Yeah,
all Reese's Pieces goes back that
Yeah, it
you
goes
think
back
about
that
E.T.
E.T., remember it?
Yeah.
E.T. and the Reese's
true.
Pieces, definitely.
Guitar Hero contest happened out about
that was
town.
it.
Yeah, Providence Bank had their CEO, Kit Stolen, took on Jen McGee, and they had, for their campaign rally, they had tat sleeves on, and they had their hair all 80'd out, and they had a little Guitar Hero face-off. We've had, of course, we have Penny Wars. We had lots of food trucks this year. Lots of food trucks that were, and JCMG did something unique. They had a golden ticket raffle. They sold 30 tickets for $100, and the winner is going to have dinner prepared for, I think, eight people at their home by Johnny Graham, who's a local, very well-known chef. St. Mary's did something really fun. They had a huge banner, and their departments compete. And for each level they reached, their CEO got to have sideburns, and he ended up with a mullet.
Yeah, that's fun. Time is going by so quickly. Two quick things. I know how important volunteers are to the campaign. If somebody is interested, though, in donating to the campaign, what do they need to do?
Well, they can call our office at 636-4100. They can go online, unitedwaycemo.org, and you can donate online. And both of those ways, we make them very easy, and we're very grateful. We also have an insert in the News Tribune where there is something that they can cut out and fill out and mail in their contribution that way.
Well, I tell you what, it's such a wonderful cause, and you have every opportunity to join in, and we encourage you to do that. As Ann said, just pick up the phone, call 636-4100, or log on to or visit unitedwaycemo.org. And it's a wonderful opportunity to improve many agencies in our community. God bless you guys for what you're doing. I know it's not easy, particularly with full-time jobs, and this lady is outstanding. She's very enthusiastic, and we're proud to have her.
Thank you,
So
Linda.
thank you all for what you're doing, and thank you for joining us tonight. We look forward to seeing you next time. Good night, and God bless.